So last night I danced till just about 6 in the morning, very hungover and tired, but talking politics while hungover is one of my specialties. Now, what I want to talk about, I want to argue that canceling and cancel culture doesn't exist. Now, canceling and cancel culture are two very specific things. So canceling is generally when somebody has some sort of misconduct and then people turn on that person and then that person's life gets fucked up. That's accountability. And this propaganda has a very specific function. And that function is to get people to hate cancel culture. And that is a specific context where society is changing, mostly for the better. The power dynamics are changing, where before there was this ironclad cis heteropatriarchy, where men, straight people, white people, and able bodied people had the least amount of bullshit to deal with in real life. And everybody else, every other demographic, had worse conditions. And that's changing now. And the changing of this allows for those marginalized groups to exist in more places, to thrive, to be in movies, etc., to be in public, to be included, and to be in the workplace. So the people from before who were the least disadvantaged by cis heteropatriarchy, those people are mad that they have marginally less power than before. And it's not even empowering them, it's just more equitable, it's more just society. And corporations have spent millions and millions and millions of dollars to turn people against this, to say that this is bad or it's woke or it's not good. And this is specifically to maintain society as it is. It spent all this money and time and effort to make the privileged people in society fight really hard to maintain it as it is. I can't tell you how many fucking terrible, reactionary, shitty Netflix specials have been put out where mostly white guy comedians just whine and cry about cancel culture. And these guys are getting paid so much money to sell this fucking narrative. And if you watch South Park or you've seen other shows that are funny and edgy, and then you analyze that and you analyze uh, the deliberate effect of what corporations are doing by promoting cancel culture and canceling and the animosity towards that, it puts forward this notion that these people who hate that and who stand against it are edgy or they're counterculture or they're being rebellious or they're fighting the system. But what they're doing is exactly maintaining the system as it is. That sentiment allows them to directly prop up the status quo while feeling like they're fighting change. So that's why the US has spent so much money and time and effort to promote this idea of canceling and cancel culture. But there is something very specific that we can analyze. With canceling, what we see is a long awaited effort to hold people accountable. And we always see people never being held accountable, whether it's police, whether it's abusers, whether it's fucked up managers, whether it's fucked up coaches, whether it's fucked up landlords, whether it's all kinds of celebrities or billionaires or CEOs, etc. Society caters to them. The bourgeois laws are written for those people to continue abusing. So what we see is this contradiction where we want them to be held accountable, but they never fucking are. Now, the insidious way that this ties into cancel culture is that we want those people to be held accountable, but they aren't. So people generally feel pretty powerless to affect change at a real dynamic, strong political level. So what they do, because they can't hit those big celebrities or those big powerful faces or whoever, they can't attack them. So who they are able to attack or hold accountable is people closer to them, particularly online. So people end up unable to affect real change, they're unable to affect the powerful, so then they attack working class people. And that engenders this really divided and very anxious and very uncomfortable way of communicating online. This is particularly intense within the Native community because the Native community has a lot of suffering, fucking unbelievable amounts of suffering, and due to like the political dynamics and the way things are, particularly in small communities, it's hard to rock the boat that fucking hard because then there's such big consequences. There's such big repercussions of making shit happen when you're in a small community. So basically, to summarize, cancel culture doesn't exist, canceling doesn't exist, and the people who are predisposed to committing abuse, the people who are powerful, members of our ruling class, their will is always going to be exerted on us, working class people and marginalized peoples, and we're never ever going to have justice as long as we exist under capitalism and patriarchy and a class system where there is a foundation of inequality that is enshrined in bourgeois capitalist law.